first place I remember living was down on North Beach by the Jordans and the Thomases, and no recollection of what the inside of the house looked like, just the outside.
Wait, you remember your bedroom?
No, not a clue. I don't know anything about the inside of the house. I remember the outside of the house only because I drive by it now and then.
Okay.
Your turn. Go ahead. Where were you born?
Okay. I was born in Glendale, California. And we weren't there long after I was born because my family moved to Puyallup, Washington when I was 8 months old. And at that point, I stayed with my aunt and uncle for a month while my parents made that move. The house that we moved to, apparently we were there for quite some time, at least until I was 4 or 5. What I remember about that house was you had to drive way up this long driveway to this big old house on a hill. And it was a big 2-story house. All the rooms were very big. And I slept upstairs, but I don't remember a precise bedroom for me. And at that house, there was a set of stairs outside in the yard somewhere. And that's where I caught a nail in my leg and sliced it pretty bad. And I still have the scar. I've always had the scar my whole life. And that's all I remember about that house when I was a kid. So, let me see what the next subject was that we were going to talk about. What was one of your best childhood memories that you can recall? I mean, you could be a little kid, it could be your teenage years, it could be anything. But
my memory is completely gone.
Well, you're 75 now. Yes. No wonder.
Well, so memories would be like Christmas morning down at Grandma Nellie's, opening all the presents, and we had tons of them back then even. And as I spent a lot of time down there when I was a kid, so I remember that as a fun memory, and just growing up, in my younger years with Mike Jordan, and we lived down in North Beach area. Used to walk to school for up to Crown Hill, but like I said, I do not have a good memory of my earlier or my later years after that. So.
Well, you told me a lot about some of your and Mike's antics trying to walk up to Crown Hill when you were 5 or 6.
Yeah, we were always late to school, so we had to go to school up there. So.
What did you do that made you late?
Who knows? Just picking up rocks, chasing snakes. I don't know.
You're so funny. Oh my God.
Okay.
Carry on. Oh my God. Well, one of my best childhood memories, my aunt and uncle were extremely important to me, and I spent a tremendous amount of time with them. And from that great big house I described, I left that house when I was 4, because I didn't turn 5 till October. And apparently at that time, the story goes, there was no kindergarten where I lived. And my aunt and uncle were very concerned about the fact that I should go to kindergarten. So the decision was that I would go live with my aunt and uncle my kindergarten year. But when I did, it was a really different experience. But one of the things that is my most favorite memory was I've always been a clothes hound. Even when I was 5, this was my first my first experience to make me love clothes, because my aunt bought me for my birthday this most beautiful, frilly dress, and shoes, Mary Jane's, and underpants with lace on them, and socks with lace on them. Everything was just gorgeous. And of course, I couldn't put it on until it was time for my birthday party. But this was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I felt like Shirley Temple when I got to put it on. So that was one of my most favorite memories ever of my entire life. It was just amazing. So there you go. Okay. Perry, you're gonna have to really dig in your memory here.
Yeah, right.
Come on, you can do it. Dig deep. What birthday was your favorite and why?
This one, I'm still alive.
Oh, that's true. You've been talking about it for a couple of days. You made it to 75.
They're all good birthdays. I don't know. To pick one, no. I can't pick my favorite birthday. It's just, I don't know. I mean, they were all fun. As a kid, we had birthdays when we were camping all the time when we were kids, because we always camped in August. So, yeah, remember them? No. I know we had birthdays all the time, but camping.
Did you have cakes for your birthday?
I would assume. I only assume because I have no idea.
You don't remember ever having a birthday cake?
Nope. Never.
Never. I'm sure you had birthday cakes.
I'm sure I did, but like I said, I don't remember all of that stuff. So.
You don't?
No. What's your favorite birthday?
My 5th birthday. Because I got to wear all those beautiful clothes. And my 5th birthday was the birthday that made me fall in love with baking. Because my aunt gave me a birthday party with all my little friends from kindergarten. But she baked the most beautiful cake I had ever seen. Oh, my word. It was a round cake, 2 layers, with white, fluffy frosting. And they don't even hardly make it anymore. Tammy and Michelle actually found me a box of it I have in my pantry. I don't even know what you call that frosting anymore. But it was really fluffy white frosting. And then my aunt found round gumdrops. They looked like a little wheel. And they were all over this cake where the candles went. And they were like red and yellow and pink and purple and blue. The cake was just stunning. And after I saw that, boy, I knew I wanted to be a baker when I grew up. That's why that was my most favorite birthday. Cake and those clothes, I thought I'd gone to heaven. Okay, let me see. What's next? Oh, we have to do it this way. Okay. Oh, I went too far. What was a difficult childhood moment for you?
Talking to you?
I'm talking to you, mister.
What a perfect life. I didn't have any difficulty.
Oh, stop. Don't even tell me that. You've told me lots of
I
stories.
remember when we lived out in Mont Lake Terrace, I must have been about 7 or 8. And I got the coolest pedal for Christmas, one of those old-fashioned station wagon looking little pedal cars.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do you remember what color it was?
And it was dark brown.
Dark
and
brown.
white. Riding around the block Christmas Day when I got it.
I've seen a picture of that.
Right up. And a car backed over us. And didn't hurt us bad, knocked the thing over. I think it dented up my little car.
Oh.
And, I guess that was a memory I still, don't remember a lot about it, but I see the pictures, so it reminds me now and then that that's what happened when I was a child. Other, like I said, I don't have a memory.
I remember the one whatever car that was and the oil trail.
I wasn't a child. I was a young man then.
Well, yes, but still.
Well, that was a car that Rick Willie and I bought, and we had it for all of 3 or 4 hours.
How much did you pay for it?
$50. And he paid 40 and I paid 10.
You got a good deal.
And I was taking you home from a party, I think at our house. My parents were gone.
Yeah.
Went around the corner and rear-ended a pickup truck with a camper on it, shoved it over a rockery, and took off. Just kept going.
Oh my God.
And about 3 days later, my mom and dad were gone camping, so I was home alone. I had a job. And cop sitting in my driveway when I get home from work, state patrol. And he said, "You own a 49 Chrysler?" And I said, "Nope." "Have you ever been driving one?" "Nope." My buddy, I forget who was with me at the time, and they're kind of elbowing me, saying, they know. So I said, "Okay, you got me." I said, "How'd you find me?" And they said, "Well, we just followed all the parts that were oil that was falling out of your car. You moved here, and I said, "Yeah, that was me." And we had, right after we got home, about 2 in the morning, we took the car up by Woodinville and just dumped it in the bushes because we had never changed the title. Nobody knew we had the car. And so I ended up going to court for that. And I ended up paying the guy. It wasn't much, a couple $100 at the time, but it was a bunch back then. But
Yeah.
fix his car. It wasn't bad. But I wasn't a kid. I was a little older at the time.
Oh my God. Well, those are real statements, but scary. I would have been shaking in my boots if I did anything wrong.
It's your fault I was taking you home.
But I don't think I knew you very well. I think I wasn't like your girlfriend yet.
No, Steve was still in the car with us.
Yeah, I had a different boyfriend. But it was all my fault. Sorry. I had to be home by midnight. What was my worst memory? Or difficult moment? That's what it is. A difficult moment. I think the most difficult moment that I really had was leaving home and going to my aunt and uncle's when I was 4. No understanding how well it turned out. It turned out to be the best thing in my life. But when you're not used to it and you just go from your big family home to your aunt and uncle's and they didn't have any children, I was it. And I can remember sleeping in a king-size bed. They didn't call it that then. It was a double bed, not a king-size, a double bed. And the room was just, my aunt had the most beautiful home. It was so spotless, everything perfect in its place, opposite of my mother. And the sheets, I mean, they smelled clean and crisp, and everything was like that. But it was still this transition that I was kind of really scared. Even though I knew them really well, it was just scary the very first night. And I can remember being very frightened. And it took a while. I was very lonesome because I had my brothers at home. So it took a while for me to get used to it, but obviously I did pretty much by my 5th birthday, which wasn't that far in. But that was really kind of a traumatic moment in my life, but turned out to be amazing for me. So, what are 3 words you would describe yourself as a child? And can you remember a trait that might show that?
I was always easygoing, extremely curious. Always wanted to go on adventures and do things. So I guess adventurous, curious, and laid back.
So what was some big adventure you did? Probably over here at Alta Lake or something.
Well, I wasn't a child over here at Alta Lake when I was. You're talking 2 different things. You're talking young adult versus childhood.
Well,
And I was talking about childhood, and we used to go on long hikes from, when we lived out in Motley Terrace, we'd hike out, now it's a busy road, but we'd hike out past the horse pasture places and stop and feed the horses. Just that kind of stuff. And I was always curious about everything. So that was just what it was.
that's just what you did. What describes me? What do you think I would?
Didn't know when you were a kid.
I know, but what do you think? Take a guess. I think I was quiet. I was a deep thinker within myself. And I was very mindful of what was expected of me. So I didn't want to disappoint people. If I felt like they wanted me to say yes to something, I would say yes. Because I never wanted to get in trouble. So let me see, what would depict that? Once when I was 9 or 10, there was and I was living with my aunt and uncle when I was in 5th grade. And I went sledding with the little girl next door, and then there was a little girl on the other side of her. So there were 3 of us. And we all went sledding. And it was probably a good block and a half away at the golf course. And there was a lot of snow that year, just a ton. And we were supposed to be back at like 2:30 because it was just getting near winter, December. And so we were supposed to be back. And not the girl next door, but the other girl had something happen to her sled. And I don't remember the reason, but I did not leave at the time I was supposed to. The girl next door did, but I didn't because I wanted to stay and help the other girl because she really needed my help. And I was just in a quandary. I can't leave her there all by herself, so I stayed and helped her. When I got home, I got in trouble with Aunt Fran and Uncle Kes. And it just killed me. It just was to disappoint them just broke my heart. And the reason that they were so upset was they were so worried something happened to me. And that's why they were mad. It was my uncle worse than my aunt. But that just killed me. So that's why I was always mindful of what people expected of me. So there you go. Who are your best friends growing up? And what were some stories you did together?
Well, early on it was Mike Jordan was probably one of my best buddies back when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but when we got to high school, it was John Belcito and Robin Brenna and George Daniels, and all of us hung out together in high school and still see each other, after all these years.
Yeah. What are some stories you guys did together?
Oh, we all, when we were just 16, 17, we were all getting our cars and stuff. Robin's mom worked at Boeing's, and she always started at 6 in the morning. So John and George and I'd always go down to Robin's house about 6:30, supposedly on the way to school. And I'd go up to Safeway, which was right up the street, and get donuts, and we'd sit around and watch there used to be always a movie first thing in the morning on TV. I forget why or where it was, but so we were late the first 38 days of my senior year. And
didn't you get in trouble?
I knew the attendance lady by our first name basis, and I was always blaming my car. Oh, I needed this. So one day she says, "Well, I'm just going to buy you a new carburetor." So that's kind of all the friends I grew up with at the time, back when I was younger.
Oh my word!
Mike Jordan and I did a lot of stuff together camping. We went camping all the time with our folks. So we were always out catching chipmunks or doing some kind of a adventure fishing. Did a lot of fishing when we were young.
Mm-hmm.
And
You told me you sold chipmunks.
yeah, we used to trap them. And little chipmunk. That's where it's got 50 cents a piece for them.
How do you trap them?
A little box in the string. Got a small slide box we catch them in.
Like the one, do we have a picture of Michelle and Anna Marie trying to catch
All
ducks?
similar like that.
I can find that picture. That's hysterical. Oh my word. Okay. Who are my best
Who are
friends?
your friends?
Mine, the ones that I come up with, because I moved back and forth when I was little. When I went to junior high school, I had Cammy and Corrine. Those are my two best friends. And we were pretty good. Cammy was the one that was the one that would always get in trouble and the most adventurous. And Corrine and I were pretty good kids. We didn't do much wrong ever. And we just did stuff like sleepovers. But we did one thing that was kind of really fun. This was when the Beatles were just starting to become really popular. We had a talent show at our school. And I can't for the life of me remember the fourth person. But anyway, we did a lip sync to one of their songs. And I was Ringo, and I don't remember who was who in what places, but there was a fourth person, and we won the whole talent show. Because we were so good. So that was just one of the things that we did. So that was pretty cool. Oh, I lost my thing. I'll be right back. There it is. Did you have any collections when you were a kid?
Me, my dad had I think it was my grandfather actually had a rock collection that got passed down to Dad, and then I ended up with most of it. And then just nothing fancy, just they were both different agates and crystals and different things like that. Collections. I used to build models a lot when I was a kid. Model cars, mostly cars.
Mm-hmm.
And collection-wise, used to collect much fishing gear as I could come up with when I was a kid. Just, other than, no, I didn't collect salt and pepper shakers or anything like that.
Oh my God, you're so funny. I didn't have any collections at all. None. Kind of too bad. But, I just never had any. What activities did you do after school or on the weekends or on vacations or in the summer?
Used to, anytime we went camping, we fished all the time. Always loved to fish. And when we were home after school and stuff, I loved bike riding, so we used to go on bike rides here and there.
Who'd you do it with?
Well, John and
Oh,
other kids in the neighborhood.
yeah.
Just ride our bikes up to Cordell Hall and back, and just goof around. Had a go-kart when we were young. We used to go down to the little school at the bottom of the hill and race around in the parking lot. After, that kind of stuff until their neighbors would get pissed. But, yeah, just normal after school, never did homework because, I didn't like homework, so I had lots of free time to do it. When I turned 13, I got my first job, so I was always working somewhere.
Oh, what was your job?
I worked at a veterinarian, Gustafson's Veterinarian over in Aurora.
Mm-hmm. How long did you do that?
I did that for 3 years. Started out at $1 an hour.
Wow. You did it for 3 years.
3 years, just not a lot, but mostly weekends and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. What did you have to do?
I'll clean the dog pens and all the shit jobs, Just come up and help around the inside.
Mm-hmm.
I worked every Sunday, I think, because they had the day off, and it was also a kennel where people brought their dogs to stay. And so somebody had to be there so that people could come and pick them up Sunday afternoon. So I did a lot of that. So. Yeah.
Well, I especially like the tooth story.
The what?
The tooth story, the dog teeth.
Oh, yeah, I used to have to help with some operations and stuff. And we had a little Chihuahua, its teeth were all rotten. I had to pull them all. So it was my job. He gave it a shot to knock it out. And it was my job to hold the mouth open. And I have never smelled anything so rotten in my life. I was getting kind of woozy, and Dr. Gus looked at me and he says, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah." Passed out over there on the floor. It stunk so bad. So, just normal kid stuff.
That part doesn't sound like fun, but the rest of it, being around the animals, to me would have been fun. What did I do after school and weekends and stuff? Well, when I was in grade school, when I was home, living at home, not with my aunt and uncle, I used to go to North Beach too, because I lived right across the school. What was the name of that school? Crown Hill School. And believe it or not, Grandpa went to the same schools I did. He was 3 years older, so he went to the same grade school. I don't know how we never met each other before, but we didn't until he was out of high school, but we always were in the same neighborhood. But I used to go to North Beach too with my brothers and spend the whole day. And we'd just play on the beach and find pop bottles and turn them in for penny candy. And we used to walk by this old man's orchard. He had an apple orchard. And we'd sneak apples, and they were little. So either they weren't, it wasn't the right time of year for apples, or he grew crappy apples, I don't know. But we used to just fill our pockets with these apples, and then we'd have a neighborhood apple fight, like you would a snowball fight. I mean, oh my God, all the things that little girls should do, right? Well, with two brothers, that's the kind of stuff you do. And then we rode bikes a ton, and we played football. We played others, so we were always on the front lawn of that school playing football. And the other thing I did at my aunt when I was there, because of course I was around girls, was dancing. From the time I was 9 and 10 years old, I loved to dance. So that's what we did, and I never missed. What was that Dave Clark show? American Bandstand. Oh my God. I watched that every Saturday that it was on, and I danced the whole hour. And my aunt was so worried I was going to make a big hole in her carpet. Oh my God, Janice, you shouldn't dance in the same place all the time. God, I'll never forget that. So anyway, that's kind of what I did. Okay, Perry, what was your favorite childhood book?
Yeah.
What was it? Come on.
I didn't have a favorite book.
Did you ever read a book in school that you remember?
I didn't read in school. I thought it was stupid. No, seriously, I didn't take up reading until damn near retirement, so.
I know. Now you're a huge
I didn't have
reader.
any books in school, in high school. I didn't read any of the classics.
Well, and I thought about this too, because years and years ago, they do now. Kids or anything, which is really too bad. The only book, believe it or not, that an adult read to me was the Bible, and it was my grandmother. And she used to read me Bible stories all the time, and I just loved it. And that was when I was like 5, when I lived with my aunt and uncle, because she lived near them in Everett. And I don't know where she got these fabulous Bible stories, but she did, and I would just sit for hours and listen to these stories. And I never knew what religion my grandmother was, because, and I should find this out. I need to ask Google, because she took me to a seance, literally, and we went in the house in beautiful, beautiful architecture. Isn't it funny that even as a little kid, I appreciated amazing architecture, and I appreciated this beautiful, grand dining room. I'll never forget it in my life. It was just gorgeous. And all these ladies sat around this table holding their hands because they were trying to raise someone from the dead to speak to. And grandmother only messed up because she didn't explain it to me, so I really didn't understand it. Not that I recall or remember, but they had to turn the lights out when they were doing this, and that scared me. So I hid under the dining room table amongst all their legs while they were doing this. It's kind of hysterical because I was only 5, but I was at an actual seance, and I don't know what religions believe in seances. I should look that up. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, that was the book that I was read to from the Bible. And that was it. Okay. What toys do you remember playing with as a kid?
I had lots of model cars I made, and the only real toy I can remember is that little pedal car we got crunched in that time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I had all the little trucks you play with when you were kids. And a fond memory of one particular toy now. I remember I had plenty of toys. Grandma Sophie used to get us toys all the time at the Goodwill, fix them up, little cars and trucks and that kind of stuff.
That's the one story that I love about your family. So you guys would do what?
We'd always go over and spend a weekend at Grandma and Sophie's up on Queen Anne Hill.
Uh-huh.
All 3 of us, Steve and this was way before Sally, Steve and Carol and I. And they take it to the Goodwill.
Uh-huh.
And we each got to pick out a toy, and if it wasn't working right, Grandpa would fix it. Put a new wheel on it or do whatever needed to be done. And so we did that, quite often. But yeah, I'm sure I had lots of toys, but to remember one exact now, I don't.
Huh. How fun was that?
Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah. Well, sad as it sounds, I don't remember any toys as a kid. And I don't know why, but I just have no memory of toys. The only thing I remember was when I lived at Aunt Fran's, I had games that were up in the closet. And if I got them out and played with them, I couldn't even come out of that bedroom until I put them back. She was very fussy. But past that, toys, I just don't remember toys.
Adults.
No, I never really had dolls. I don't know why. Just didn't seem to want that stuff. Okay. What were your dreams or hopes when you were a kid? Did you ever think you wanted to do something special, or you hoped you had something, or hoped you could do something?
No, I just kind of, pictured myself like Mom and Dad end up having a family someday, and dreams and hopes. You're a kid. You don't think about dreams and hopes, or I didn't anyway.
Yeah, I think that comes from within a family and how they operate. And if you're sitting around a dinner table, which you guys did, You sat down around a dinner
Every
table
night.
every single night, and so did I. But our tables were quite different. But unless your family talks to you about that kind of thing directly, then you probably don't look ahead like that. But if your family does talk to you as a kid, thinking about the future and what you would do or this or that, you've got to have those kinds of conversations. And if your family doesn't do that, then I can understand why you wouldn't think ahead like that. My family never talked much around the dinner table. And you guys probably did, but it was probably fun.
Yeah, I would consider all of us had a great life. So there wasn't any, oh my God, I got to get out of here and dream to go do this or that. So we didn't do that. I didn't do it.
No,
I didn't have any dreams and hopes.
my family
It was on and life was good.
You were very fortunate. You didn't want to be around my family dinner table. It was not a fun place to be. Because my dad was an alcoholic, and he would always come home late, and he was very verbally abusive, and you just did not want to even say a word, because if you did, you were the target, and it was just not fun, which was too bad. But when I was 10, because I was thinking about the future, I told you I was a very deep thinker, I had an epiphany when I lived with my aunt and uncle. And that was when I lived with them when I was in 5th grade. And at that point, I guess I'd gone back and forth with my family enough, because I not only lived with them for those 2 years when I was in kindergarten and 5th grade, but I did spend time in the summer with them. So I went back and forth, and I understood both households and what differences were. And I just decided I wanted my life to be like my aunt and uncle's. It was a very structured home, a very clean home, loving home, no arguments, just fun, and very routine, which I loved. And orderly, they taught me lots and lots of lessons that kids should learn. And I decided at that point, that's exactly how I want my life to be. And I'll never have a coffee table full of beer bottles and ashtrays that are full to the hilt on Christmas Day. So that was my epiphany. And I thought, when I grow up and I get married, I'm going to have a little girl, and I'm going to name her Tammy. So those are the two things that I decided at 10 years old, which is interesting because they exactly came true. So that's my deep thinker person. Okay. What was your elementary school experience like? What did you do in grade school? You and Mike must have been quite a pair.
I have no recollection of grade school or elementary school. I don't know what grades those are. I probably don't barely remember. I remember getting up in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade down at Cordell Hall. But elementary, I don't remember. I picture a couple schools I went to in the Denver area, but vaguely Whittier, or forget what, I don't know. No, so I have no recollection of my elementary school. I didn't like William back then.
Oh, poor Barry, you really missed out. I thought you had a teacher when you were a little guy. Remember that picture of you missing your front tooth?
No, I don't.
Oh, I can't remember what it is either. Never mind. Well, one of my memories of elementary school, of course, again, is at my aunt and uncle's. And I've always been artful And in 5th grade, I had this teacher. She was a pretty cool teacher. And she thought we should do handwriting. My uncle had the most beautiful handwriting I've ever seen from any man or any woman. And this teacher had to order all of us in our class these special pens to start writing cursive. So we were learning cursive, and we had to have these wonderful pens. So she got them, and of course, writing beautiful cursive was very special to me. So I remember that. And then there was a big fashion deal for girls, whatever year that was. I should look it up. White buck shoes. They looked just like saddle shoes, only they were white, which you can get dirty really easy. So when you bought these shoes, you got a white bag of white powder you had to put on them all the damn time. But they were the coolest thing ever. I got to have a pair, so I was pretty darn cool. So, there you go. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I really didn't have any, I didn't go to college, so I didn't have any. I just wanted to be able to make good money, and we got started early and support a family, which I did, and I had a super job my whole career, so I made decent. I wasn't rich, but made decent money. So what did I want to be when I grew up? I never had that one direction that, oh God, I'm going to be a cop, or oh God, I'm going to be a fireman. None of that. I just fell into jobs, and all my life, when I was out of high school, I worked all the time up till I got out of high school. I just kind of.
You had a vacuum cleaner job?
Oh yeah, I had several. I worked at Sambo's. I worked at Safeway. I worked all the normal jobs that kids did after school.
And then we happened.
Yeah, and then we happened. So I fell into the bookbinding job, and it was a good job and a good trade. So I just stuck with it. So
yeah.
But I had no dreams of what I wanted to be when I was young.
I didn't either. I guess, again, if you don't come from a family that talks about that sort of thing, you don't end up with a big direction, which is really sad, because everyone in my family, both the boys, really had some serious talents, and nobody just helped them. And that's kind of what broke my heart. And you can only look back at it as an adult and see the tremendous talents that they had and what they could have done with them. And sadly, it just never happened, which was really too bad. When I was a kid, I loved music so much that I just thought, oh, I'd love to be a dancer. Well, there's lots of kinds of dancers. And I don't know if I really wanted to do ballet or what, but I just loved music and dancing.
Your aunt and uncle wouldn't buy you a brass pole?
No, I don't think so. That was not anything that they would ever think of. But I did dance constantly and loved it, so that would probably be the only thing I ever thought of. What were the clothing styles during, says, what did you want to be when you grew up, and what were the clothing styles during that time? What big events were happening?
Last couple of years of high school, I was what you would call a clothes whore, I guess.
Oh my God, yes.
I always had to have I worked all the time, so I had my mom and dad would buy me all the fancy stuff. There was a place downtown on 3rd Avenue called 3rd Avenue's Men's Store. And I did most of my shop. They had all the cool stuff. And so I was always dressed nice for long, in my high school years. I had to impress the girls,
Well, when I met you, you would get paid and you were broke 2 days later.
Yeah, that was my style.
That was your style. And you always had beautiful, beautiful clothes. Always. You were extremely sharp.
That
Yeah.
didn't last long.
Yes, you always dressed very nice. Very nice. Well, the only thing I can really come up with was what was happening at the time and going on at the time. We're talking about 1964. And that was when the Beatles were starting to come to America and be on Ed Sullivan. That was the biggest happening event in all time. That was such a big deal. And the clothes at that time were very driven by England. Very, I should say, tweed skirts. Most didn't wear pants hardly ever. It was always skirts and dresses because you couldn't wear pants to school. That was no. Always skirts or dresses. Lots of tweeds. You have to go back and look at Twiggy from England. That's when she came on the scene. And Nehru jackets and stuff like that. Vests. You were just before the hippie days. And they came about just a couple years later, and velvets and jackets and stuff like that, and platform shoes. I mean, they were, oh my God, so amazing. And you had to go to Nordstrom or Best's, which was an offshoot of Nordstrom. And the Best's was where they had all the shoes. And they used to have like incredible shoes that were just out there. And they don't have any place like that anymore. And I'm really sad because fashion has gotten flat as far as I'm concerned. It's just flat. But back then, it was pretty wild. But you can imagine the hippie days, Elton John, all those kinds of really out there dressers, and that's kind of the fashion that was going on. So it was an interesting time. So that's what we did. I think we're done.
Yep, I just pressed stop on the recorder.
How did we do?
You did good. I got all the things. I only have one question I couldn't catch. Perry, when you were talking, hold on, I made a little spot for it. Where is it at? Oh, when you were talking about your best friends, and you said when we were 16, we would get in our cars, and then you said so-and-so worked at Boeing, and then before that, you said when I got to high school, it was, and then you had names, and I didn't catch the names.
Okay. Well,
John.
she wants you to say it, not me.
John Belcito, Robin Ferrenta, George Daniels and myself were the four of us that hung out.
Okay.
We even got into boat. Oh, I forgot. We got into boats for a while, and we even had a boat club. We were called I think we were called the Seahawks, believe it or not, back then. For a boat club. I got some pictures somewhere. We even got jackets. But yeah, those were the four. And then our younger years, obviously, with Mike Jordan, Tommy Thomas, the Pillings, and all the kids we went camping with.
Okay. I just didn't catch those two names. And then Jan, you said, I think Cammie and Corrine, but I'm not sure.
It's Cammie with a C.
Cammie?
It was Cammy.
Okay.
Cam. And Corrine. Corrine.
Corrine. Okay. I almost got it.
You were very close.
I got Cammie, but I just didn't. I got Corrine, but I spelled it wrong. And I don't, because it's going to be in a book, I don't want it spelled wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will show you once it's in the book. I'll show it to you before I have it printed,
Okay.
so that there can be
That's
any.
Great idea.
Yeah. All right.
This is gonna be so fun.
Yeah. So I will send you another group of questions. When do you want them? Like, do you want to like go full steam ahead and do them like every other day, or do you want to like space it out? Like whatever you want to do.
No, let's just do it every other day.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have a little interruption when Perry has his surgery.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I will send you some questions tonight or tomorrow, and then the next day we can record again.
Sounds perfect to me.
Yay! Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well,
Oh.
thank you, sweetie. So appreciate what you're doing. You have no idea.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got a couple pictures that pertain to this stuff.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I'll find them and send them to you.
Oh, good. Okay. Perfect.
And you know, I'll somehow say, okay, this is session 1.
Yeah, that's what I have it listed on in the document. Janet Perry, number 1.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
All right, well, we will look forward to the new set of questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay.
Bye-bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing a project with Perry and Jan, and today we started today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of project?
I bought a little handheld tape recorder, and I sent her and Perry questions yesterday,
Yeah.
and then they had time to think about it, and then today I called them and I recorded them talking to each other, like me not talking, but me recording them talking to each other, like answering the questions.
Mhm.
And then I was typing it up as they were talking. Jan asked me if I would do this. They wanted to be able to do like kind of like Jan has always loved that book that you did with Grandma. And so she just really wanted to, she said that Perry's starting to like not remember things, you know, so she just wanted to get things written down, but she was having a hard time because writing was hard for her. Like writing, like, you know, like just the physical labor of writing, lots of, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas when she is talking and I can type really fast, so then she doesn't have to write it, and she doesn't have the technology skills to, you know. So I just said, well, let's do this together, you know.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, she's very excited.
Is she?
Yeah. It's funny too because I made like a little Google document, and I have like the question on the left, and then I have Jan's responses, then I have Perry's responses.
Mhm.
And it's funny because every question for Perry, he's like, I don't know. I don't remember that stuff. I have no clue.
Oh my god.
Like for the hopes and dreams one, it was like, what were your hopes and dreams when you were a child? He literally, wait, I gotta get to it. It was so funny. I was trying not to laugh. He said, no, I just pictured myself having mom and dad having a family. I didn't think about that stuff. Every night we sat around the dinner table, and I considered that I had a pretty good life, so I didn't have any dreams. Life was just good.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. But I did learn some stuff about him that I didn't know. Like, he told me that every one weekend a month, him and Steve and Carol would go to his grandma Sophie's house. And the grandma would take them to the Goodwill and let them pick out a toy. And the toys were always broken. And so they would bring them home, and then the grandpa would help them fix them. And that was part of the outing, was getting a broken toy and then spending time fixing it with grandpa.
Oh,
Which I thought was really cute.
that was really cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But then one of his responses, like, for what was your elementary school like? He goes, yeah, I have no recollection of that. Barely remember middle school. Yeah, no recollection.
10-4.
Yeah, and then what did you want to be when you grow up? I was, God, it's so surprised. He's like, I didn't go to college. I just wanted to make money and support my family. I was never rich, but I made decent money. I never thought I wanted to be a cop or a fireman. I just kind of fell into jobs all my life. Worked all the time. When I got out of high school, I worked at Sambo's and Safeway. And then we happened. He was talking about him and Jan. I fell into the bookbindery job. It was a good job. But yeah, I had no dreams of what I wanted to be when I was young.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then Jan was like super descriptive, like in her responses.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just so funny to hear them go back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
Because she was like, so like, what was your favorite book? Perry started laughing. He goes, I didn't have a favorite book. I didn't read in school. I thought it was stupid. Seriously, I didn't. I didn't pick up reading until I retired. And then Jan said, years and years ago, the only book that an adult read to me was the Bible, and it was my grandma. She used to read me Bible stories all the time. That was when I was 5, when I was with my aunt and uncle, because she lived in Everett too. I would sit for hours just listening to these stories. I never knew what religion my grandmother was because she took me to a seance. We went into this house. It had beautiful architecture. I appreciated this beautiful grand dining room. I'll never forget it. It was just gorgeous. And all these ladies sat around the table holding hands, and they were trying to raise someone from the dead to speak to her. Grandma didn't explain it to me, so I didn't understand it. They had to turn the lights out, and I was scared, so I hid amongst their legs. I was at an actual seance. I don't know what religions believe in those things. That was the book I was read to, though, the Bible. That was it.
Wow.
It was, so she had answers like that, and then Perry was like, I didn't have a favorite book.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was really fun to do. I'm like, I think like Tammy and Michelle and Heather in particular are probably going to be like really like think it's really awesome,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. So do they not know about this?
Nobody knows about it except Jan, Perry, me, and you.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Are they planning to like have it done at a certain time?
We're gonna have the books made and give them to them for Christmas.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Everyone always comments on that book that you know that you and Grandma and I actually read it quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
But like how are Jan and Perry ever going to leave that for Tammy and Michelle, because Tammy and Michelle are like older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So they won't ever have that opportunity again. And, you know, people do things like get busy with their life and they just don't make things a priority until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I told Jan, I told her I was going to buy a tape recorder because I told her that one of the sad things about my mom passing is that I just really don't have recordings of her talking, her voice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so I really want to record you and Perry talking so that I can so I bought this thing that I can take their recordings and I can upload it into the computer and make like a QR code to put in the book too, so that like if Michelle, like if after Jan and Perry die, if Michelle wants to hear her mom talking, she can just put the QR code on there and listen.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah. But like these things, like people just, they want to do them, but they just don't ever do them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's interesting to me that that Perry just didn't have a lot of memories.
Mhm.
But then like my dad, that's all he talks about is like his younger days.
Yeah,
So it's weird.
yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important to like get these things written down before you don't remember,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. True that.
Yeah. And it was cute because when one of the questions was who was your childhood friend?
Uh-huh.
And so he was talking about dad, you know, and how they used to set traps for chipmunks and then they'd sell them for 50 cents.
It's funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. They sell the chipmunks for that much?
Yeah, 50 cents.
Oh.
And then it was cute because then Jan was like, oh yeah, like when Anna Marie and Michelle at Alta Lake would set traps for the ducks. And we did that.
Mhm.
But it was just cute to listen to that. And Jan, you know how she always laughs
Yeah.
at everything. So it was cute because I caught that, you know, it's on the tape.
Oh.
So, you know, for Tammy and Michelle and, well, for their family, like, I think that, you know, to be able to go back in and listen to their mom laugh, I just,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. Like, I wish I had that, so I feel like that would be something really good, nice to do for someone else.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Yeah. I can really type fast. I mean, it kind of amazes me, actually.
Yeah. You can type really fast, honey.
And also it was interesting because she had, because Jan's best friends were Cammie and Corrine.
Mm.
And she said that that's why she named Tammy Tammy, after Cammie.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Who'd have thought?
But then the more we talked, like there were a couple like things that Perry like remembered, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cute. He was like, "Oh yeah, I remember. I had a rock collection."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is cute.
Jan has been like so excited to do that. I think she's wanted to do this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of one of those things where like Tammy isn't like super into it and Michelle never has time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of those things where you don't have time and then pretty soon those people aren't here anymore and then time runs out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know that Jan wanted to be a dancer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did not know that.
I didn't know that. Most of what she talked about I knew. But I didn't know all of the things.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I was doing.
Very nice.
Hmm?
I said very nice.
Yeah. How was work today?
Yeah, it was good. It's kind of long.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. I was tired.
Aw, did you take a nap?
No.
Oh yeah, Perry said that he was late the first 38 days of his senior year because he would go to the store and buy donuts and then go home and watch a movie.
That's funny.
He just wasn't into school at all. And it's fascinating too because he had like a really good childhood growing up.
Alright.
Yeah, like he had good mom, good dad.
Huh. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, that was a different time though. You know, lots of people didn't go to college. You know,
Yeah.
that's why it's pretty fascinating that grandma went to college,
Yeah.
given her history.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. Anyways,
Anyways.
did you want me to like come over and bring you dinner, or do you want to just chill? Do you want to be by yourself, or what?
Oh, I don't care. You can come over if you want. If you like.
Oh, roti. God, it's gonna be so hard to keep this a secret.
Oh, you better.
Oh, I know.
That would not be good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm working on, I decided to create a separate Instagram page
Oh,
for
okay.
like all my like education social justice deals.
Uh-huh.
Because I was just trying to think for so long about, I don't know, like I want to post like, you know, personal shit. Not like too personal, but you know.
Yeah.
But then I want to post like justice-y types of deals, and I just couldn't a way to have like combine that.
Yeah.
So I just decided to create my own separate like Insta deal.
Oh, well, it's fun.
Yeah.
So does it have like a certain name or like
Justice and education.
Justice in Education?
Mm-hmm.
So it's on Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find. So what would I search for?
Justice and education.
Well, I don't do Instagram, so I don't really know. Account. So somebody education and social justice is coming up.
It's literally called Justice in Education.
Oh, justice in education. I thought you said and.
Nope.
Oh, there you go.
Did you find it?
I did, and I'm following it.
Oh. Lovely.
Yay.
Cool.
Oh, I like the is that your LLC?
No. My LLC is called Create and Culture.
Oh, okay.
This is a separate deal.
I really like that flower with the justice. That's really cute.
You like it?
Oh, I do. It's
Made
quite
myself a logo.
it's quite lovely. When did you do that?
Oh, yesterday.
All your free time?
Yep.
I was really glad that I got a hold of Carrie,
Yeah.
because I was starting to get kind of worried about you going there.
Mm.
And then, so I was like, well, fuck, Carrie's there. She could literally tell me what she's experiencing, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh. You do that?
So I think that, you know, I think it's fine. I don't think it's much different than here. In fact, I probably think it's a little bit safer there because they have restaurant capacity limited to 50%, and every restaurant has outdoor seating.
Mm-hmm.
And they have tables spread apart. Like here, they have restaurants like full on capacity.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're probably safer there than here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I had another doctor's appointment today,
Uh-huh.
and it was just a phone call, you know, from Josh.
Yeah.
He's kind of my new doctor because Hanson Fam's never fucking available.
Oh,
And he was like, wanted to follow up with the allergy specialist that I saw yesterday, and the pulmonary. She's an allergy / pulmonary doctor. And he was like, he was like, what? Like, she's got a lot of notes in here. Like, she really is like doing some pretty extensive research. And I started to laugh a little bit. I said, yeah, she was really fascinated by my case. Like, she'd never seen anything like it and couldn't explain it. And she was kind of frustrated by that. And so she's really wanting to, like, you know, crack the case. And he was like, yeah, she's actually got notes in your medical file where she's like reached out to radiology teams and sent like your workups and tests, your different tests, you know, the ones that have come back positive, and has asked other physicians to get involved. And I was like, wow, well, that's good.
that's solid.
I wanted to say, at least finally a fucking doctor's like helping.
Yeah, right.
Instead of just, well, I don't know. And sending me away to suffer.
Mm-hmm. I scratched my balls about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was nice to hear, you know.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, well, fuck, finally, someone's fucking gives a shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that was real nice.
Yeah. Probably made him feel like shit. But actually, he's been really nice. He's been better than Dr. Hanson Fam because he's been, like, following up with me and, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been nice. Oh, my God. I went outside, opened the garage door, and I mowed the front lawn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went out into the driveway, my next door neighbor, Michael, was outside with Ella. And so I peeked my head above the fence and I was like, Ella! And she went booking with her tail between her legs and like jumped into Michael's lap.
Oh my god.
I was like a little scaredy cat.
That's funny.
It was pretty cute.
That is cute.
He was like, Ella, that's your neighbor. So funny.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
that's lovely.
Yeah, so my cabinets are all done.
Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty excited. Made it look way better.
Oh, that's good.
Like, I don't hate it as much.
Like, cool. Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.